Tonight, Kenya Airways management stands its ground over striking pilots.
Just because of lack of understanding or being selfish to hold the country hostage. We have got to break this at some point.
The airline has announced vacancies to replace the striking pilots as the strike enters day 3. Kakamega Governor Fernandez Barasa questioned by the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission for allegedly misappropriating millions of shillings when he was at Ketrako. Retired President Uhuru Kenyatta says he is optimistic that the hostilities between Tigray People's Liberation Front and Ethiopian government will end as he oversees peace talks between the two sides.
I am certain at the conclusion of this process, will be colleagues who will be working together for the betterment of their country, for the betterment of Ethiopia, for the benefit of our region, and ultimately join us all in our struggle to make Africa a better place.
Catherine Simaloi is our sign language interpreter. Good evening, I'm Abubakar Abdullahi. Welcome to the broadcast. There will be no negotiations between the KQ management and its striking pilots until the pilots are back at work. Those were Kenya Airways KQ CEO Alan Kilavuka's sentiments on Monday afternoon after the pilot strike entered day 3, making the situation dire. And as Mike Kagwongo now reports, the Kenya Airlines Pilot Association said the association is making all attempts to have a conversation with KQ management to come up with an agreement.
Kenya Airways CEO Alan Kilavuka has said there will be no negotiation with the striking pilots unless they go back to work. Speaking during a press briefing at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport Monday afternoon, Kilavuka said the airline had given the pilots room to talk through the Kenya Airline Pilots Association (KALPA), but with the ongoing strike, he wants them back on duty before any discussions.
Just because of lack of understanding or being selfish to hold the country hostage, we have got to break this at some point and say, let's take the pain now, but prepare it for posterity. Because we have a country to run, we have an airline to run. Yeah, so it's going to be expensive, it's going to be painful. But unless the pilots realize that, okay, we're in trouble as a country.
According to the CEO, the airline advertising the jobs for the pilot and first officer positions is not in bad faith, as things have to keep moving.
We've been accused of being unfair, right? Well, we want to demonstrate that we are fair. We will sit down and find reasons why. First of all, one, they participated in an unlawful strike. Secondly, why they disobeyed lawful orders by their superiors to come to work. There might be valid reasons. We'll listen to those, okay? And then we will follow our HR procedures. So disciplinary action does not necessarily mean just firing people.
So far, 132 pilots had registered with the airline's operations team as unfit to fly. The pilots who are on strike will have to be held individually and collectively accountable for the losses the airline has suffered and the reputational damage done to the airline.
We filed a suit this morning for contempt, but like I said, we lost a lot of money. Right? So people have to be held personally and jointly responsible for the losses and damages to this country, to this airline.
The CEO noted that as of 2 p.m. Monday afternoon, the airline had registered 20% of its network of daily operations. The airline has also reduced the number of disrupted passengers to around 9,000 from 12,000 Sunday by working with partners airlines such as Jambojet. In a quick rejoinder, the Kenya Airline Pilot Association urged the Kenya Airways management to negotiate with an open mind. KALPA's General Secretary Captain Mureithi Nyaga said that the association is making all attempts to have a conversation with KQ management to come to an agreement.
We are ready because it's not about how many ministries. All we are saying is if the art of negotiation is to come and sit, be open-minded and in good faith. We are not the stumbling block. As we're saying, we are ready to negotiate.
The association has also revealed that they have been in contact with the Labour CS in regard to the strike and scheduled a meeting for Monday.
Now, what we saw there in the press, I will not hold brief for the government, but that's not the correct position. And that is why we have in this press media speaking to the people of Kenya that the pilots are ready to talk, negotiate, and break the stalemate, and then at least so that we can move on with our lives.
I mean, they tried this in 2016. We buckled, right? Some of the problems we're experiencing now is because of that. This time round, we are saying to them, go back to work for this moment. Your problems that you have presented, some of them are valid. We'll address them. We have even tried to start addressing them, but you cannot hold us hostage. You cannot hold these passengers hostage.
Meanwhile, the Central Organization of Trade Unions of Kenya, KOTU, has asked the Transport Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen to stay away from the ongoing pilot strike. Addressing the media Monday morning, Ernest Nadame, the Assistant Secretary General, said the Kenya Airways management must move with speed to solve the issue with its pilots instead of dragging the Transport Ministry into the matter.
So this issue of saying you must come back to work immediately so that we solve the problem, you must do A, B, C, D, that is not going to work, because even workers and our affiliates have their right to call a strike. Is provided for in the laws of this country.
And particularly the CS Labour to come in now and take charge so that we resolve this issue. We are Federation of Kenya Employers. Federation of Kenya Employers now should also advise Kenya Airways.
Nadome further says the Ministry of Labour is given the mandate to solve workers' welfare and not the Ministry of Transport. Mike, GOtv 47, Nairobi.
Now, Kakamega Governor Fernandes Barasa has today spent the better part of the day at the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission headquarters over corruption allegations during his tenure at the Kenya Electricity Transmission Company Limited, KETRACO. Our senior political affairs reporter, Apollo Kamau, is currently at Integrity Center and joins us live. Apollo, it has been a day of grilling for the former KETRACO boss.
Yes, indeed, a long day for the Kakamega governor who came in here at 9 this morning. We are now in the 9th hour and he is still inside. A few minutes ago, we had one of his personal aides coming to speak to us, telling us to be more patient. And we are meant to understand that he had been requested by the investigators, EACC officials, telling him to come tomorrow so that the grilling can continue. But he says he has a full entry tomorrow and he would be able to be coming here for further interrogation, and therefore he has requested they go on with the grilling. What is happening inside there is issues to do with questions, especially in regard to the audit queries which were raised by the Controller of Budget regarding the Turkana Power Project. Remember, there was an amount which is still in question, and according to the auditor, it was irregularly paid out, and that's the focus of the investigations. We also meant to understand he is also doing statements regarding the whole issue of accountability when he served as the Chief Executive Officer at KETRACO. So it's a very intense process, and the very fact that this is now the 9th hour since morning, it tells you a lot is happening inside EACC as we speak.
Well, Apollo, indeed, a lot is happening. There is quite a confusion of what the amount is being grilled for is. Is it 600 million, as some quarters are reporting, or 18 billion shillings?
Well, speaking to his aides here and also some of his personal assistants, because there are a lot of documents, there are a lot of reports. We're also being told there are witnesses who are also giving their testimony in form of reports. Whether they are inside here, we are yet to know that. but the figure varies. What we know now is a 600 million shillings, which was paid to the Turkana Power Project. That is the amount which is in question. But the figure might vary given the whole range which EACC has focused on. So until EACC officials speak to us and tell us what are these exact amounts, because all manner of figures are being thrown about, 600 million shillings, 18 billion shillings, but it would be better to hear from the horse's mouth other than the 600 million that we know from the horse's mouth, and that is EACC itself, the amount in contention where he broke the law as the chief executive of KETRACO. And remember, he is a man who was also being investigated by the Public Investments Committee, which by then, before the election, was being headed by the now current governor of Mombasa, Abdul Swamad Sharif. He was the chairman then, and he resigned a day when he was supposed to appear before the committee, and that raised a lot of questions. So what EACC is investigating, the kind of documents that are being investigated, the kind of processes that he followed when he served as a chief executive officer, it's a whole broad thing, and they are going through the nitty-gritty of it all to get to the bottom of it, according to some of the officials here at EACC. Abubakar.
Finally, his exit was questioned when he left the company KETRACO 2 months before his tenure ended. He resigned in February. His tenure was supposed to end in April of this year. He cited his political aspirations of wanting to be the governor of Kakamega, which he has won that seat, as the reason as to why he resigned. But clearly, that will raise an eyebrow to the investigators, isn't it? He resigned on a day he was supposed to appear before the Public Investment Committee of the National Assembly.
Yes, indeed. And as I said earlier, the fact that he resigned a day before when he was supposed to appear before the Public Investments Committee raised a lot of questions. He is a man who, here is a man who has a baggage, and as we speak, those are allegations until they are proven here by EACC officials. And that's why at this point in time, it's all about connecting the dots to try to get into the deeper root of it, whether money was lost, whether he did play a role personally in overseeing this fraud or illegality, as the Auditor General raised it, and that's why it attracted the attention of Parliament and EACC. So, and the very fact that EACC is requesting him to come tomorrow for further interrogation, and he refuses. He says, today is my time. When I dedicated this time to EACC, I cannot be able to come tomorrow. It tells a lot. There's a lot at hand here, connecting all those pieces and trying to unearth the truth. Whether they will get to the bottom of that truth and what truth will be found, that's a question EACC officials have to answer. The ball is in their court. But as far as we know at this point in time, and according to his aides here, the governor is likely to come out at 11 tonight. So we are talking about 2 more hours to go, 2 more hours of grilling, 2 more hours of connecting the dots, 2 more hours of trying to unearth the truth, since he says he won't be able to make it here tomorrow. Abubakar.
Well, thank you, our senior political affairs reporter Apollo Kamau, who is pitching tent at Integrity Center, where detectives and investigators are questioning the former Ketraco CEO, Fernandes Barasa, who is the current Kakamega governor, of alleged fraudulent payments. The payments, however, there are questions to what the specific amounts are, whether they were 600 million shillings or 18 billion shillings. What we understand is the total sum of the project was 18 billion shillings. Remember, Fernandes Barasa was elected as the governor of Kakamega County, as the second governor, of course, taking charge from the then and first governor of Kakamega County. When he appeared on Pandit's Night, the last time I hosted him on this program, I asked him of the question of why he resigned, raising eyebrows to the length at which and the day in which he resigned. He indicated that he resigned because of his political aspirations. That is a developing story that Apollo Kamau will be briefing us in our subsequent bulletin. Moving on. A 7-story building still under construction at Tasia Kwandenge in Embakasi East collapsed today at 5 p.m. A rescue team led by Nairobi City County Government and Red Cross officials are at the scene as operation to rescue those suspected to be trapped in begins. Let's listen to what those affected and other leading officials of the rescue efforts had to say moments ago.
Wenye walikuwa wanajenga leo, wengi walikuwa wanajua. Wakaambia wamama wenye walikuwa wanafanya na wao kazi wasiseme. Alafu hapo kando kulikuwa na lori iko hapo tu. Ilikuwa inabeba waste. Sasa hiyo dereva wa lori ndiye alikuja akatuambia, "Hebu tokeni nje, hii ngorofa inakaa kuanguka." Tukatoka nje tukaangalia ile tu na wasiwasi. Ndio sasa tukaweza kuiangalia. Mimi mwenyewe nimeenda nikaona pira moja imepinda na mchanga imeanguka, chuma ziko nje zinaonekana. Kidogo tu hivyo watu wakaanza kuchukua vitu mmoja, akitoka vitu zake ndani, yani ndio tukae rada, tukatoka nje. Kidogo tu hivyo, dakika kama 20 minutes nilikuwa na charge simu yangu juu haikuwa na moto. Nikasema acha nichukue simu juu hata ya kuelezea mwenye kazi venye kunaendelea, yani bado haiko imeanguka. Kwa sasa kutoka tu 5 minutes venye tu nimetoka kwa mlango tu venye nimesongea kando ya barabara bande nyingine, ndio tukasikia mgurumo, ndio sasa ikaanguka. Alafu mwenyewe alikuwa anapigiwa simu, anasema gorofa yenyewe, akaambiwa pira gorofa inataka kunini, akasema ni pira moja ilikuwa wet. Sasa walikuwa wanataka tusitoke nje, walikuwa wanataka tukae tunda ndani.
Mimi sijaona engineer akiangalia hii nyumba. Hii nyumba iko na koramu kama 4 huku mbele. Na hii nyumba ni msito sana. So tunasema serikali iangalie vile hao watu wenye wameweka biashara hapo chini watapata karama yao. Kwa sababu hapa Kenya hatuna sheria ambayo inakaidi mfanya biashara ya kwamba hapa ufai kufanya biashara ama usiweke biashara kwa chumba ambalo hajamalizika kujenga. Na hata kama imemalizika kujenga, hii ilikuwa imemalizika kujenga, ni plaster tu finishing hajamaliza. So inamaanisha substandard work ilifanyika hapa.
President Uhuru Kenyatta has expressed optimism that hostilities and conflict in Ethiopia will come to an end soon. The former head of state was speaking after he met with African arbitrators in Nairobi, where he led peace talks between the Ethiopian government and the Tigray Liberation Front.
Former President.
Almost 2 months after President Uhuru Kenyatta left the highest office in the country, he now has a new calling. His new entry now involving resolving one of the biggest deadlocks in the region, the conflict between the Ethiopian government and the Tigray People's Liberation Front officials.
Excellencies, without further ado,
speaking at the Moran Center in Karen, in a meeting also attended by former Nigerian President Olusegun Obasanjo, Kenyatta said the process of disarmament that they are currently discussing will eventually bear fruit by ending and silencing guns in Africa.
We will be working together for the betterment of their country, for the betterment of Ethiopia, for the benefit of our region, and ultimately join us all in our struggle to make Africa a better place and to end and silence the guns permanently so that we can focus on the well-being of our people.
The former head of state also disclosed plans to take the peace talks to other African cities that are playing an integral part in formulating a permanent solution to the stalemate.
Within the next month or so, we will have reached a point where we can say uhuru.
And it is time for the very people who have a deeper understanding of the realities on the ground to figure out how to go about it and to make sure that whatever we come up with is going to result in a lasting peace.
The former head of state has been part of the 3 arbitrators leading the African Union-led peace talks between the Ethiopian government and the Tigray People's Liberation Front in Pretoria, South Africa, which began on October 25th, playing a key role in facilitating a truce inked by the 2 parties on Thursday.
5 days after the signing of the agreement in Pretoria, South Africa, today's meeting is an important step in our collective effort to implement the agreement.
According to the signed agreement, the warring parties will cease hostilities and silence guns in principle in the war-torn Tigray region and work on ending the 2-year-old war without delay. The signing of the agreements, which came after 10 days of intense negotiations, marked an important milestone in the African Union-led mediation process. Sylvia Nyongesa, TV 47.
Moving on, President William Ruto has expressed Kenya's determination to cooperate with the United Kingdom, especially in areas of security in the Horn of Africa, energy, agriculture, and infrastructure. Ruto spoke when he chaired a national delegates conference on the forestry and rangeland restoration in Egypt, where he held bilateral talks with UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak. President Ruto also witnessed the signing of an agreement with Future Industries in order to fast-track the development of affordable green fertilizer. The British government has promised to support the green investment in the country, naming the 2022 United Nations Climate Change Conference, COP27, as a good platform to deepen the British investment partnership with Kenya.
Helping the world reduce emissions and make the world a better place, as well as achieve nationally determined contributions as per our commitments right from the previous COPs.
Currently in the middle of a drought, a severe drought that we have not seen in 40 years. Nonetheless, we are taking bold and pragmatic steps, investing heavily in climate action. We are intentional about directing our efforts towards conservation, bringing new green economic opportunities, and rewarding local communities.
Now, as hunger continues to bite in some parts of the country, 2 children from Kurosei North Sub-County in Molo have been receiving treatment in Molo Sub-County Hospital after consuming chameleons cooked by elder brothers due to hunger. Chichi Josephine with the details.
This is the reptile that the 7-year-old boy found fit to cook for his starving siblings. The 2, aged 4 and 2, from Nyakinywa village, Sirikwa Ward, Kuresoi North constituency, have been receiving treatment at Molo Sub-County Hospital after their 7-year-old brother prepared the reptiles to add to the few potatoes they had for food in the house due to starvation and to cater for the entire family. Joyce Chemgetich, the mother of the 2, says she returned home from her daily work and found them unconscious, and upon inquiry from their older sibling, found 2 heads and tails of chameleons in the sufuria.
Nilienda kibarua, tafuta kibarua, nikaenda paka usiku ya piasi ya kereyo. Nikaa paka saa 11, nikakuja. Nikakuta amechinja kinyonga na ameweka piasi. alikaa siku 2 bila kukula.
Wakati nilifika tukaitambua kweli watoto wanaendelea kutapika hizo nyama. Kuangalia jikoni kulikuwa na mkia kwa sufuria. Huyo kijana kuuliza akasema ni njaa.
According to the medical superintendent Molo Sub-County Hospital, the 2 minors showed severe symptoms on their arrival at the hospital and are currently in a stable condition as they have already been discharged.
They were alleged to have consumed chameleon. Of course, they had issues, abdominal problems. They were admitted by clinical officers, and so far they have been attended to. They have been stable, and the report I've gotten in the morning today is that they have been discharged from the facility in a very...
Now, as the Presidential Working Party on Education Reforms gathers throughout the implementation of the competency-based curriculum CBC across the country, some schools in Trans Nzoia have started to involve their students in direct skills training by visiting some industries to improve their skills. Our reporter Boniface Barasa has more.
These are tens of primary school students, especially grade 6 candidates, who have visited Kitale Wool Shop Factory to have first-hand experience of the textile and manufacturing industry as the country geared towards competence-based curriculum.
We should just continue learning CBC because it makes us learn more things than the other 844.
According to teachers who accompanied them, there is need for the Presidential Working Party on education reforms to incorporate their recommendation in their final report on how local industries can be used in examination assessment.
They should, try to look out for these kind of industries like what we have locally, so that even as they set the exams, when they are discussing about assessment, they should really give us the places that we have practically.
Manufacturing and textile industry players have said that it is very difficult to find skilled workforce needed in the market and argued that if CBC curriculum is fully implemented, then this nation's economy will thrive.
CBC is one of the best practice I think we can do in this country. Like now, manufacturing, we have a lot of problems in employees. We don't get the right people, we don't get the right personnel in our working place.
However, the teachers under their unions, Kupet and NAT, who took part in the ongoing stakeholders engagement by the Presidential Working Party on education reforms across the country, held contrary opinions.
CBC, right from inception, it started on a wrong footing because the government did not want to accommodate the views of the teachers.
The elephant in the house, as far as education reforms is concerned, is funding. It is funding because funding is able to address all the issues.
So all the CBC issues and pedagogy should be involved and included in the teacher training college to create preparedness for the CBC when it arrives at the highest level of learning.
Trans Nzoia, Kisii, Kakamega and Kirinyaga counties played host to the Presidential Working Party.
People have a feel that CBC has failed and it is something that is untenable. It is not true because when we do comparative studies, CBC has succeeded in North America.
Professor David Some, who led other task force members in views collection, said that many parents approved the implementation of the curriculum despite some raising challenges.
90% of the speakers this morning said CBC is okay. They tell us that the children who are in CBC right now seem to be even more enlightened than the Standard 8 children and so forth. So it looks CBC is doing very well.
Boniface Barasa, TV47.
Thank you, Boniface Barasa, for that report. Still on matters education, and Universities Academic Staff Union say the institutions of higher learning might be forced to increase school fees to the current market rate if the government insists on not funding them. WASU is faulting Education CS for allegedly acting contrary to the manifesto of the Kenya Kwanza government. Here is our senior education affairs reporter Sharon Baranga with that story.
Forever, solidarity forever.
It is barely 2 weeks since Education CS Ezekiel Machogu took oath of office, and he is already under fire from the University Academic Staff Union UASU members who are act following his announcement over the weekend that the government will no longer fund public universities, urging them to be innovative in generating revenue. Here is a recapitulation of what landed Machogu on the wrong side of the university dons.
That this is a very key sector. We have given it 25.9%. I'm telling universities and other sectors that I might not ask for more.
That statement has not made us sleep, because we don't know whether it is a government policy or it was a roadside declaration.
The UASU Secretary General Constantine Wasonga says Machogu's announcement might cause a ripple effect that will lead to parents being forced to dig deep in their pockets for school fees.
It means now he has given universities free will to charge fees at market rate. That is the implication. Because currently the fee being charged is 16,000. Even kindergarten pupils do not pay 16,000. Because private universities where they take students charge fees as market rate, and also they sponsor students and take capitation there. And what is the implication of that? It means now education is going to remain for the rich only. Who will allow him to do that? We will not allow him.
The lecturers say the exponential growth in the number of students has strained facilities and human resources in universities, which affects the quality of education.
We have serious underfunding in the university sector. The public universities are public entities. They are for the benefit of the children of this country, and the underfunding is affecting the education standards in this country.
And the minister was saying that the universities should be innovative. And what we are asking, why can't other state departments also be innovative, so that they generate their funds to facilitate their activities? Why only public universities? Is the Ministry of Education also innovative?
Recently, the Universities Fund revealed that public universities in Kenya have debts amounting to over 56 billion shillings. Collectively, the institutions of higher learning owe the Kenya Revenue Authority, pension schemes, part-time lecturers and SACCOs, among others.
Despite the underfunding crisis at public universities, the government nevertheless allocates funding to private entities or private universities to support the government-sponsored students in private universities. And as a union, we've been wondering, what informed this? Public universities are struggling, and you take the students that should bring money to public universities and take them to private entities.
Machogu has also been accused of acting contrary to the Kenya Kwanza government manifesto.
Now he's confirming our worries. That is not fit for this position. We want him to come in the open and tell us what he meant. Because as a union, we can petition the president so that he's being removed, he be removed there forthwith. Does he understand that the president signed a charter with members of the university community? And now that he has taken a position, do we still go to present our views how to finance university education to the Presidential Working Party on educational reforms?
Sharon Baranga, TV 47.
You are watching TV 47, the home of untold stories.
Discover a world full of opportunities, a place to build your skill and see the world in a different perspective. Sensei Institute of Technology is the home to the best practical courses, giving you hands-on experience to handle the world. We offer courses such as plant operator, plant mechanics, driving and trailer driving, CCTV and alarm installation, solar installation, electrical installation, motor vehicle mechanics and electronics, building construction technology, welding fabrication, roads and dam construction, hospitality courses, and many more. For you to join us, ensure you have your national ID card and be ready to enjoy the ride.
Remember, my skill, my future at Sensei.
Sensei College, my skills, my future.
My name is the Eagle himself.
How well do you know what's happening around you? Morning Cafe with heated political debates. Baraza la Siasa.
Hiyo kitu azungumzie, angalie hali ya maisha ya watu.
Informative health discussions. Business, farming. Tasty Wednesday, Fitness Thursday, and Feel Good Friday with amazing DJs, celebs,
waimbaji, kuna comedians, alafu kuna wajinga,
and music bands every Monday to Friday from 6 a.m. Watching TV 47, the home of untold stories.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. Let's get to more news. And Mama Lucy Hospital health workers have called upon the Senate Health Committee, chaired by Senator Jackson Mandago, to stop pointing accusing fingers at the facility and instead divert the attention to hundreds of Kenyans dying of hunger in the dry parts of the country. The response came days after the Mandago-led committee threatened to shut down the facility due to poor services. This story was produced by Andrew Juma.
Mama Lucy Level 5 Hospital, a health facility that has been on the spotlight in the recent days, is again in the headlines. This time, its workers asking the Senate Health Committee to stop what they termed as tarnishing the hospital's name.
Look at the public facilities. We are number 3. Mama Lucy is number 3 in the whole country. So you want to tell us all those 2,000 deliveries are on the negative because the unfortunate happened? Do you kill your son because he went to school and came back with one shoe?
According to the workers, the facility has been under pressure to deliver the best, even as it faces challenges of insufficient medical equipment, few employees, while at the same time serving a high number of patients at the hospital.
We had only 4 nurses on duty against a number of 136 patients. This is a level 5. According to the staffing norms under nursing, a level 5 in labor ward is 1 nurse to 1 mother. In this case, you have 136 people against 4 nurses. What magic do you expect?
Some of the problems we are having is not because of the incompetence of this hospital, but are systemic challenges. One, starting with health financing, and that's the key role of the Senate. The Senate should ensure that hospitals, or health in particular, are well funded. We cannot talk of quality health care without proper health care financing.
Cases of alleged negligence among its workers have been on the rise. This time, the facility is saying the number of staff cannot serve the big number of those seeking health services at the hospital, and asking President Ruto to intervene by offering a lasting solution to problems weighing down the hospital.
We cannot talk of quality health care without proper human resources for health. And that's where we are as the unions. We are not going to continue shifting blames and throwing blame games here and there because of systemic issues which can be addressed by the Senate and by our employer.
We have facilities where if you need even an ultrasound, a mother in labor, you need an ultrasound, you cannot get it at night. Then where do you go to?
you have to go to an alternative, a private hospital. That is very unfortunate.
2 months ago, Maureen Anyango, a 28-year-old woman, lost her life at the facility after bleeding severely, with the family blaming the doctors for negligence.
So, mke wangu, the last word aliniambia ninunulie mtoto au watoto 9. Because even if you go for negligence for 50 million and after 1 week more patients are dying, there's no progressive realization of socioeconomic rights. We are simply killing our people.
The workers are now calling upon the Nairobi County government and the national government to step in and save the situation at the facility instead of calling for its closure.
Number one, nataka kuambia rais wa Kenya ni mtu mzuri. When he was campaigning, he campaigned on a platform of inaitwaje bottom up. Sidio? If you look at the location of Mama Lucy, hata ukiangalia mahali iko, si ni masafara na masala. So the safaras and the hustlers, if the Senate, for example, want to say you want to close Mama Lucy, what are they? Which sign are they showing the president? They are not supporting the agenda of the president on the health issues.
Remember, developing story we are covering tonight is the day-long grilling of Kakamega Governor, the former Ketraco boss, over fraudulent payment. He has been questioned by the detectives at the Integrity Center earlier on. Our very own Apollo Kamau was live from there. I understand we have live pictures where the governor and the former Ketraco boss is currently ready to address the media. Let's listen in. I understand the governor is in few minutes time addressing the media. Remember, he was at Integrity Center for the last 9 hours. Questions being asked, among them the alleged fraudulent payment of millions of shillings in the Lake Turkana wind power project. They're quite a concern over the amount is, whether it was 600 million shillings or 18 billion shillings. I understand the cameras are getting ready for that briefing. We will be getting back there shortly. Those are live pictures from Integrity Center, where we understand any minutes from now, the former Ketraco boss, the current Kakamega governor, Fernandez Barasa, will be walking out of course, the very famous rolling gates of Integrity Center, a day that has seen him equally roll files in as far as the alleged fraudulent payment of millions of shillings in the Lake Turkana wind power project concerned. We have our glaring cameras there, and we will be bringing you his statement to the media after that address. Let's listen in for now.
Yeah, I just wanted to confirm that today I decided to heed the call by ESCC just to clarify on a few issues regarding the project which I am very happy to be associated with. That is Lake Turkana Wind. This is a project that put Kenya on the global map, where we were generating 310 megawatts of power. And Ketraco, as the transmission company, was the one that was implementing this project, which I can confirm that despite the hard terrain of 435 kilometers, we delivered the project in a record time. During project implementation, definitely you may have challenges because we had a contractor from Spain who was terminated because of bankruptcy. And I'm very proud as a Kenyan that we did the right thing to terminate a contractor who was bankrupt, and then we got a contractor who delivered the project on time, that is in 7 months. So as I stand here, I'm a very proud Kenyan that I managed to deliver a project that seemed impossible in a record 7 months. That is on 30th of August 2018. As we speak right now, we are now getting electricity from wind from Lake Turkana because of the transmission line, which I was the key person implementing the line. So the issues I've come to confirm here is I believe in accountability as a public officer, and I will always even come anytime I'm required. Right now I'm a governor. Anytime I'm required by any office to clarify on issues, I'll always honor that invitation. So there isn't anything to worry about. That's why I'm saying I'm very excited and very happy to be associated with this project, because I delivered the project as a CEO of KETRACO, and it is a project which has put Kenya on the global map. So far, there are many officers who are being invited here. So it's not a Baraza Fernandes affair. And that's why I just wanted to confirm that this is not a Fernandes Baraza affair. It is not political. There are many officers who have come here. My former PS was here. The acting CEO was here. And many other officers will come here to clarify the issues with regard to project and the role they played in the project. I think that is okay for now, because I know you guys were eager to hear from me. And one thing I can confirm to you is I'm ready anytime I'm called here to come and clarify issues. I'll definitely come. But there's no point of worrying to my supporters, because as a public officer, I believe in accountability. So there's nothing to worry about. So thanks a lot. I think I may not encourage questions. It was just important for you guys to know that what I'm doing here is a duty as a public officer to talk to any investigating agents. So tuonane? All right.
Well, those are live pictures from Integrity Center here in the country's capital, county of Nairobi, where Kakamega Governor and former KETRACO boss Fernandes Barasa has just walked out of the Integrity Center after a day-long grilling that took more than 9 hours. Questions surrounding the fraudulent payment of millions of shillings alleged by the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission when Barasa was at the helm as a CEO of KETRACO. In his statement, he said he was called to clarify some questions, which he did. He says he's proudly associated with that particular project because of the role it plays into the national grid. He further explained that there was a Spanish contractor who was awarded the tender, went bankrupt. Another tender was awarded to another contractor, in which the second contractor completed the project in what he says was a record 7-month time. The governor there and the former boss of KETRACO insisting that he will summon invites of the investigators. Moving on, the hearing of a petition challenging the election of Governor Patrick Ntutu has been delayed for 7 days up until Monday next week. Elsewhere, the parents of the two murdered Kianjokoma brothers have testified before the court, recounting the last moments with the deceased. Collins Lusweti with more from the corridors of justice.
The hearing of a petition challenging the election of Governor Patrick Ntutu has been delayed for 7 days to allow the legal teams to iron out pending issues in the case. The hearing of the case filed by former Narok North MP Moitalelo Lekenta, who garnered 148,270 votes against Ntutu's 158,100, will begin Monday next week at the Narok Law Courts, with presiding judge Teresia Matheka warning the legal teams that there will be no further extension to the date of hearing.
There will be no extension. I think it should be agreeable that within the time that we are left, we can share out that time and still get to the bottom of this. It's not agreeable, so that we don't move too far away from it.
Elsewhere, a civil servant and a businessman accused of receiving money from investors in the pretense of being in a position to assist the said investors to purchase government-funded houses located at Park Road, Ngara area in Nairobi appeared before the Milimani Law Courts. The accused Frederick Njenga and Sheila Kamathi are said to have received between 200,000 and 600,000 from investors interested in housing development. The two appeared before Chief Magistrate Wendy Michemi and released on a 200,000 cash bail. And Abdurrahman Abdi, Company Director of Sunspot Petroleum Limited, has denied several counts of stealing and forgery. The accused appeared before Magistrate Wendy Michemi at the Milimani Law Courts. The suspect is accused of using his position as director of the company to initiate theft of Kenya shillings 10 million. The accused has been remanded at Kileleshwa Police Station until November 10th for another court appearance. And finally, the parents of the two Kianjokoma brothers murdered in August last year told the court that one of the deceased, Benson Jiru's entire head was deformed, head bruises, and one of the bone was protruding out, adding that Emmanuel's head was also deformed. The mother of the two recounted the last moments with her sons. Collins Lusweti, TV47, Nairobi.
You are watching TV47, the home of untold stories. How well do you know what's happening around you? Morning Cafe with heated political debates. Baraza la Siasa.
Hiyo kitu azungumzie, angalie hali ya maisha ya watu.
Informative health discussions. Business, farming. Tasty Wednesday, Fitness Thursday, and Feel Good Friday with amazing DJs, celebs,
waimbaji, kuna comedians, alafu kuna wajinga.
and music bands every Monday to Friday from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. How well do you know what's happening around you? Morning Cafe.
Transforming. Endless benefits. Slaty, purely Kenyan. Buy now on Jumia or Amazon.
Wanapoingia katika majengo haya kutunga sheria, tupo nao kukuletea safari zao kabla na baada ya kuingia humu. Milima na mabonde tutavuka, wakubwa kwa wadogo tutakuletea, ili mradi kuhakikisha kwamba unafahamu maisha yao.
Tukapata ajali hapa Roslyn Drive upande wa Gigiri, kwa watu walikuwa ndani, manusura walipelekwa hospitalini, lakini mimi niliwachwa pale chini nikiwa nimeambiwa nimefariki.
One of my hobbies is reading empowering books. I read empowering books na familia. Sina social circles ya friends ati tumeenda out, kwangu ni ngumu. My social circles ni vitabu.
Katika kipindi Ufahamu kila siku ya Alhamisi kuanzia saa 1:30 kuendelea, na mi Elizabeth Mutuko.
Watching TV47, the home of untold stories.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. Let's get to the world of sports. Dennis Otieno is with me in studio. Dennis, good evening. What do you have for us tonight?
Good evening to Abubakar Abdullahi. Now tonight we'll be telling you about a certain sport known as catchball. It almost resembles volleyball. We'll be telling you what it entails, what is all about catchball. Also, we'll be telling you what the National Olympics Committee of Kenya is doing to prepare teams for the 2024 Paris Olympic Games. Those are among the many other stories that we've lined up for you. But let's start off with the catchball sport. It is a sport whose popularity steadily rises in the country by the day, having been started in Israel 2 decades ago. Now, in order to understand the sport better, what it entails, its rules, and its difference with volleyball, our sports reporter Duncan Mutua caught up with the catchball team in the country at the Tena Sports Grounds here in Nairobi and filed the following report.
Yes.
A game that was invented 2 decades ago and has its roots sprouting from Israel and was designed to be a simplified version of volleyball for women. And 6 years have passed since it was introduced in Kenya. This is catchball. Catchball is an indoor game played on a field or court divided by a net with 2 teams of 6, and its rule is simple. Firstly, the ball is put into play with a serve thrown over the net to the opponents. A maximum of 3 touches are allowed to the team that bears the ball before it is thrown over the net, and if the ball is fumbled or hits the ground, a point is awarded to the other team.
It's a game that really resembles volleyball in so many ways, including the pitch, the number of players, the way the sets are done, the way the scores run. But it's slightly different because from the word catch, badala ya kuspike mpira na mikono like they do in volleyball, you have to catch the ball and throw it over the net. You can score with 2 hands, and few players are able to score with 1 hand over the net.
The game is slowly gaining its popularity amongst Kenyans, having penetrated the Kenyan fan base by 15% and rising. But how did the game find its way into the country? Shadrack Okelo, president of Kenya Catchball, explains.
The game was started in Israel some like 20 years back, and in 2017 I introduced the game to Kenya, where I met our people who were in Israel, those who introduced to me. Then after that we started playing it in Kenya. So we started it in 2018.
In scouting programs to identify catchball talent while at the same time spreading the popularity of the sports in the country, the Catchball Federation of Kenya has introduced tournaments in the counties, the recent one having been played in Kakamega County before shifting focus to the coastal region.
The ways we are doing it to spread the game across Kenya is by just going to county level.
And with the new leadership in the country trying to refine the state of Kenyan sports, a call of financial support has been extended to the sports ministry and well-wishers to fund the Catchball Federation, which has in the past been forced to spend from its own pockets.
So in terms of sport, we just need to get things done properly and also to get being supported.
For most of players participating in this game testify to having fun while at it. One of them is Team Kenya Catchball captain Lavenda Zawadi, who says she used to play football 2 years ago before meeting a catchball coach and was inducted into the game since.
Like na feel poa, it's like a magic. Na enjoy game, ni tamu. Na unajua rule ya game inatuambia have fun. So I'm just having fun. It's a very nice game na enjoy. Nilikuwa mchezaji wa soka namba 5, but vile nilikuja huku kutoka home nikapata hakuna wasichana wa soka wana nini sana, wamewatilia manani sana. So mimi ni mtu napenda zoezi, nilikuwa nafanya zoezi, then kakutana na coach wangu, tukaongea na yeye na hivyo ndo nilianza game.
Like any other sport in the country, catchball is not exempt to a number of challenges, including the lack of an indoor playing court.
Changamoto ya kwanza ni wakati wa mvua kama vile imekuwa juzi hivi. Wakati mvua inanyesha hatuwezi pata pali pa kucheza. Maana uwanja wetu unakuwa matope. Hatuwezi cheza kabisa. So unapata watu wataogopa kuja